Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode two of Estudely News. Episode two, take two of news, whatever you want to call it. I didn't do a news yesterday because I thought there's nothing interesting to report on. But turns out there's a lot of news, and today we have more than 15 to 20 different articles. I also moved my video from over that side to like this side. Hopefully, it doesn't intrude with other stuff. So let's get started with the first news. With that, the first news is Proton is now introducing beta access for Proton Pass CLI. For people who do not know, Proton Pass is it's a really good password manager. Now, I personally use Bitwarden. So if you were to check Bitwarden, this is what I use. In fact, I'm a premium paying customer for Bitwarden since the last 4 days. I think the pricing is way it's good enough. Like if you are going for the personal option, uh, like $1, like $10 annually, honestly, I think this is awesome. I think everyone should have it. In fact, you know what? Maybe the next giveaway that we do will be the Bitwarden password manager, like the pro version. So if you want to participate in the giveaway, all you have to do is just like the video, like this video, and just comment. Just comment anything. Comment your favorite color, right? And if you do that, directly, you'll automatically qualify for the giveaway, which will happen soon in the next week. I'll just pin the tweet, comment or whatever. So comment your favorite color and say something nice. That's it. All right. I'll get you. Anyways, let's move on with that. Anyway, so it's a password manager. Whereas Proton Pass is also a password manager. I don't pay for it. I don't use it. I've tried to beta test it for a while. I think it's genuinely good, and having a CLI is actually a pretty big deal for people like me because I love to program a lot of stuff, and I live most of my life inside a terminal, and I think it's pretty good. I think it's awesome. So hey, you gotta access your passwords programmatically. You gotta access your APIs programmatically. I think this is an amazing option. So hey, good for them. Check it out if you can, and that's about it. Moving on to the next story, is that Pebble, the watch company, they go full open source, which is awesome, right? And if you don't know about Pebble watches were originally made by Google, but then they were a separate company, and then Google allowed them to use the Pebble name, but they're awesome. They're smartwatch they are a smartwatch company, and they're awesome, and it's open source. I think it's newsworthy, and that's all I wanted you guys to know. And there's a lot of ads on my screen today. Another thing is Thunderbird, the email client, which I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. They have announced Thunderbird Pro. Now, Thunderbird by default is actually it's an email app. It's first of all made by the people from Mozilla, the same people who have made Firefox. Um, it's good. It's open source, but it's riddled with bugs. There's so many bugs. Sometimes it just outright deletes your emails. I've seen so many people on the community and forum complain about it. But they're essentially having kind of a pro version of it, and they're having a lot of different stuff like like Thunderbird Send and like contacts and all of that. But hey, essentially it's a initial subscription tier, and it will be priced at $9 a month. $9 per month for an email app. I don't think it's worth it. It's open source. You should support the project. I'm not saying you shouldn't support the project, but $9 for Thunderbird Pro? I don't know. I mean, there are there are email clients like Spark Email. Once again, I used to be a beta tester for them, so they gave me like a really good access before this. Then they went like, pricing tiers and stuff, and like even they cost like $10 a month, right? They you get access to this AI and meeting notes and a lot of stuff. And I just use the default free version. I used to use it. They don't have a Linux client, so I don't use it anymore. But it was like a one-stop go-to thing for me. But asking me, I don't think Thunderbird Pro is I don't know, it kind of doesn't make sense for me. But hey, you do you if you are a Thunderbird user. Comment down below if you're a Thunderbird user ever. Or just comment down your mail client. Some people just use Gmail by default, which is fine. I use the mail app on iPhone, and I think that's good. I also use MailSpring, which I don't know a lot of people know, but a lot of people have recently been moving to Linux because I did this giveaway where I was offering try hack me subscription for an entire year if you are switching to Linux. But if you're switching to Linux and if you need a good client, MailSpring is a really good one. And they do have pro features. You can just, they are like $8 a month as well. But I use the free version and I think it's awesome. So hey, check them out. They're an awesome company. So yeah, that's essentially the thing. And moving on, something in the news section, D-Link has recently warned people about certain RCE flaws. Now, RCE means remote code execution. RCE flaws in end of life DIR 878 routers. Now, if you have a router, which is a specific D-Link router, and there was literally news recently about, D-Link being banned in like USA and stuff, but this is a router that comes from like 2017. I have a router even today, which is a very old router that I got with my first pocket money stuff. And I still have it. It's a Netgear router. And the amount of bugs these routers and the amount of issues these routers have, they are like a lot. So people who are in the pen testing, world, you essentially know how horrible and bad a RCE is. So that is essentially it. They do have a exploit code and everything over here. And what I'm going to do is, as usual, just like the previous, Easterly news, I will have the sources in the description and you can just check them out. There is one more similar router type story, where is how to know if your Asus router is one of the thousands hacked by China state hackers. Read the entire thing. It's essentially a story about how many of these routers, these Asus routers, have been hacked by China. So I would suggest to go through this entire story. I'm not going to go through it. I just want you guys to be aware about it. So yeah, and this essentially is the actual blog post which will describe the vulnerability, which is ASUS warns of a new critical auth bypass flaw in AI cloud routers. So essentially, if you can just bypass a router's authentication, and honestly speaking, a lot of people in India do not have the router page protected by an IT password. So, for example, if I were to go to, let's say, my router page, which was, let's say, 196.1.1.1, this is my router page. Now, if I were to not protect this, and if let's say, for example, my ID password just was admin, if I were to click on login, if someone is in my Wi-Fi network, or let's say my guest network, they can just access my router page and they can now make a lot of changes, whatever they want, right? But because I'm like, okay, first of all, now you guys know what my router version is. I can't do anything. This is what the router company, the internet company has provided. The point being, change your default passwords on your routers. Okay, change that. Anyways, people with Asus routers, I don't think you can do anything over here. Um, Check it out. Maybe just disable AI Cloud. You know, Another in the news related to network again is there's a new Sonic Wall Sonic OS flaw which allows hackers to crash firewalls. So you might have heard about Sonic Wall. It's essentially a company. They have this specific firewall stuff, and apparently there's a bug which just crashes the entire firewall, which is crazy. You can read more about it in this specific CVE. It's a denial of service attack, more or less, right? But hey, check it out. And here is essentially the list of all the hardware that is actually affected by this. So hey, check it out and stay safe about this. Another, cybersecurity news is there are malicious Blender model files which deliver stealthy info stealing malware. Now, stealthy is a type of info stealing malware. Now, an info stealer is essentially, well, as it sounds like, it comes to your system, takes all the information it can, cookies, password, browser sessions, all of it, and then takes that and gives that to someone else. And know this, if your browser session and your cookies are given to someone else, that hacker or that attacker can just bypass the thing. They can just bypass it. They don't need multi-factor authentication. They don't need passwords, right? So that's what InfoStealer does. For people who do not know, Blender is kind of a 3D modeling software. I am 99% sure it's open source, but it's free. It's free. That's what I'm sure of. That's what I said. And that's what I meant to say. And there are certain Blender files which, when loaded, apparently has this TLC info stealing malware. So people using Blender, I know there are some people in our community who like to do 3D modeling and stuff. Be careful. Be mindful. Then we have Google, who say, "Oh my God, that's a why does this advertisement even why it's like what, just blocking half my view. Do I have view block origin over here? I do, but apparently it doesn't want to work. Hey, cool. Anyways, Google says hackers stole data from 200 companies following Gainsight breach. Yeah, that's it. It's just a data breach that happened. Yeah, it's obviously horrible. Just want you guys to know about it. If it affects you, figure it out. Another thing, hacker claims to steal 2.3 terabytes of data from an Italian rail group, Almaviva. I hope that's how you pronounce them. 2.3 terabytes of data. That's actually a lot of data, and they posted it on a dark web forum. I don't think they have mentioned the name of the dark web forum, but apparently it's the data from the software design and development, system integration, IT consultancy, and a CRM product. Essentially, that's where they got the data from, and I think they have blurred out the like URL for it. It looks like CryptDB. I am not sure what forum this is, but hey, whatever. A lot of data, code, trade secrets, incident reports, legal and court papers, financial documents, passengers' personal data with passport numbers, priority list of defense related supplies. That's a lot of data. So it seems like a horrible, horrible data breach that happened. Then is Iberia discloses customer data leak after vendor security breach. So Iberia is actually a flight company, like a plane company, and a lot of customer data is affected. Obviously horrible. So hey, be mindful. And then we finally have Comcast. They are actually Comcast is a lot of things. They are an internet service provider. They are like a TV channel type of thing. They are also like a news thingy. Anyways, they have to pay $1.5 million fine for the vendor breach that affected 270,000 customers. Now, 1.5 million sounds like a lot, but if you divide that with 270,000 customers, that's just $3 approximate. $3.67 per customer. Now imagine that if I were to just calculate it very quickly, let's say 15 divided by what was it? 270. So that's like what? 2.7? That's like $5. Five. No, wait. Am I doing the math right? Yeah. $5. That's horrible. That's literally nothing. Think about it, guys. $5 for your data getting breached on the internet. That's how much they're paying. I'm pretty sure most of it is lawyer's fee. So you're getting like what, $3 per your name. But hey, good job, Comcast. Anyways, in the new thing, Signal has announced polls after so long. This is a feature that actually really I'm looking forward to be using, because we also have a community on Signal. So I would suggest you can also join that. But we have enough polls, which is finally. So hey, good job, Signal. And hey guys, just download Signal. Stop using WhatsApp. Download Signal. It's a really good messenger. Then we have a word story about Windows turning 40 years old, which if you can believe it, Windows is 40 years old, like 40 years old, and it still has so many bugs. It is still horrible. It is still a mess. Some people in my community were reporting last night that after updating to Windows 11, a specific update, the screen starts flickering. Even in the BIOS menu, the screen is flickering, like it's affecting hardware. Imagine if you want to get some work done and Windows 11 just comes with an update and it's like, hey, bam, now you can't play games. Now you cannot have a normal screen. It's just horrible. That's it. Anyway, Microsoft has been talking about having an agentic OS that make of it whatever you want. An AI agent in your operating system sounds like a really bad idea from a security standpoint. Then there is also Microsoft, finally admitting almost all major Windows 11 core features are broken. That's it. I'm not gonna even say anything because like you can read this stuff for yourself. Like they had an outage that made files unusable. Really? The GPU was not working. NVIDIA. They want to do an agentic OS. They acknowledge that they have, issues with YAML and shell components, like start menu and stuff. You know, hey, whatever. Don't use Windows, guys. Do not. Really. I am literally asking you, don't use Windows. Just don't. Anyway, another Windows story. Critics scoff after Microsoft warns AI feature can infect machines and pilfer data. That's Windows for you. Moving on. Dell says Windows 11 transition is far slower than Windows 10 shift as PC sales stall. People converting from Windows 8.1 to 10 were more than people converting from 10 to 11, even though converting from 10 to 11 is a free upgrade. That's all I'm going to say. Another Microsoft story. And yes, I have picked a lot of Microsoft stories. Microsoft exec asked, why aren't more people impressed with AI? Moving on, there was this recently in the news that Gmail can read your emails and attachments to power their AI stuff. And then Gmail or Google replied that, hey, we don't do that. We only use it for smart features. So they're using it to train essentially a machine learning model for smart features. I've said this time and time again. Your emails on Google are not private. They're not. They're secure. I agree. They're secure. Your Google account is secure. It's not private. Security and privacy are two different things. And sometimes having one can be an issue on the other. Like you might have all the privacy, but then security, you might have to, do something here and there. I do suggest using, email providers like Proton Mail or Tutanova or just Tuta at this point. But I get it. I get it. Most of people's lives are connected with Google and Gmail and a lot of stuff. I get it. I get it. But if you could just switch your email, just don't send anything sensitive in email. That's all I would say. I'm not gonna come here and preach you guys to like move off Gmail. You guys do you guys know better. Anyway, hey, Google begins showing ads in AI mode, which is AI answers, and now you have ads in AI answers. You will soon have ads in ChatGPT as well. Next time the chat something an AI model or LLM suggests you, there will be ads inside it. So good luck trusting anything. Moving on, then Tutor, once again, this is the email provider I was talking about, and they have a good Black Monday and Black Friday and Cyber Monday deal, which is just $36 per year for their Tutor Nova email. Once again, you can use it for free. You can use the Tutor product for free. You get 1 GB of storage and one calendar, and that's a lot. Honestly, guys, that's a lot. All right. But if you want to go for the yearly plan, all right, if you want to go for the yearly plan, which is the legendary plan, you can just pay $36 for 1 year and you get 10 custom domains of email addresses. You get 30 extra email addresses. You get unlimited calendars. You get 500 gigs of storage for fully encrypted storage. So if you're not so well versed with the Google ecosystem, you can just use this if you want. If you don't want to, that's up to you. Anyway, they have this entire article. It's actually a very well written article for how to disable Gemini on Android, Gmail, Chrome, Photos, and Google Apps, and how you can stop the AI tracking thingy. Now, a lot of people say, Aman, we just started getting free Gemini in India, and you want us to stop using it? What should we use for LLM? To that people, I say, you can just use something called Duck.ai. This is the DuckDuckGo's original, their own version. They just use open source models. And this is what you can use. And they have models like, where is the model selector? Yeah, over here. There are models like, GPT-4 or Mini, GPT-5 Mini, GPT OSS, Llama 4, Haiku, and Mistral Small. And honestly, these are just fine. If you just have a very quick question to ask, you can just use this. They don't track anything. They don't use any of the data. And I think it's awesome. I've genuinely used this, to like actual like for personal questions and stuff where I don't want something to get logged. So hey, check it out, and it's free. It's actually free. It's genuinely free. All right, you can save chat history. I can just delete chat history. Like the saved whatever is saved is actually in local, so it doesn't go to the server. But hey, whatever, give it a shot when you can. Okay, that's the thing. And then there's one more thing, which is what I was talking about. Google denies misleading reports of Gmail using your emails to train AI. But then they said it's not AI, it's smart features, but they are just technically machine learning things. But so yeah, this is essentially them denying. Google is also testing ads in AI mode. We kind of already went through this kind of another article for it. And then there are like three different articles that I have over here, which talk about how you can still use, like you can still earn money, like these browser companies, they need to earn money, obviously, right? But you can still have a verifiable privacy and transparency thing, even when you are using AI. And so this is an amazing article. I would say just read it for yourself, because Brave Browser also offers their own Leo assistant and stuff. Check it out yourself. Okay, AI doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be stuff with like tracking and stuff. Check it out. There's another article as well, which is by Mozilla. It's kind of by Mozilla. It's from a company called Distill, whatever. But doing for AI what we did for the web. Amazing article, really, really, really worth reading. The link will be in the description, or you can just search this on Google and you'll probably find it. But I'll put the link in the description. Check it out. Really worth the read. And there's one more article. This is kind of my favorite article from like the other two as well. But there's a new Tabs API in Mozilla's latest bet on agentic web. They're trying to bring more AI type stuff to Firefox, which I don't like, but it's open source, so you can just disable it. That's okay. So yeah, check it out, read. It's a bit technical, I would suggest, but it's good. Check it out. And the final story, which is the best story, and it's like really good news, is that EU made Apple adopt new Wi-Fi standards, and now Android can support AirDrop. So this was in the news recently. You can now do AirDrop from an Android to an iPhone. And that is crazy. That is crazy because a lot of people are stuck on iPhone because they don't have like AirDrop on it. Like the functionality for AirDrop doesn't exist on Android. And so they just need that. And they're like, hey, and I do agree. I use Apple, I use Mac. I also use an Android. I use a Pixel as well. And I use Linux as well at work. But I'm not an Apple shill. I think Apple makes really amazing hardware, but they are also one of the most you know s- they're a stubborn company. Apple is a very stubborn company. They want certain things to be done in a certain way, and if it's not done that way, they'll start crying. uh, but an Android is an evolving platform. Android's not perfect. It's not Google's now having this whole thing about hey, we don't want users to install applications from third party stuff. There's stuff going on. Uh, no one's perfect, but you at least with this thing will have more interconnectivity thingy, and I think that's awesome. So hey, that is it. That is it for my final news story. For everyone who has still been watching, it's been more than 23 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, if you're still not subscribed, make sure you are already subscribed to my channel. I'm trying to bring in more and more videos. We'll try to do more tutorials as well later on. But hey, thank you for joining. Good night, good morning, good evening, whatever time you're watching on. You're awesome.